You can't see me. Okay, it says live right now. So maybe it's a different channel. It says live. Now I'm looking at myself here. It says I'm broadcasting live. See if there's not two of these going. You are about to join a hangout. Okay. Is that my own hangout? Join. Take me there.
It's 9 o'clock.
Trying to here. Someone else's picture. Jonathan is going to watch. Said you're going to watch. This is strange. Huh. I don't know why I'm not doing this. Because I'm looking at the schedule of upcoming events. I can't see you though. Jonathan, you just hung up on me. Hello? Hello? Okay, we got some sound there. Okay, we're gonna have to invite people. Okay, so here we're in the learning process again. So, okay. Hi, Sally. Can you talk? Wait a second. You know what? I know the problem. You know what I did wrong?
Ah,
Hi, Jonathan.
hello.
Oops, I just calling you back. We have Sally. Sally, I'd probably destroy your last name if I say it, but Sally is on.
What about Adam and the other
No,
Adam?
Sally's the only one that came up, and then now you've come up. Not sure. Here she is. So I'm not sure why everyone did not come up. I mean, I've been out of this for about 3 weeks, but
Yeah. Can you
but
send Adam another invite?
unless there's two shows, it sort of worked. I mean, so let me add more people. I'm going to add everybody else again if I can
Yes,
find
can you?
more.
And we'll get this thing on the road.
So we can hear you. Sally is eating an apple. I was eating. I had to get some breakfast. I started actually at seven, a little before 7:30 this morning with another podcast. Not podcast, but Google Hangout back in Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking for your original email with all the numbers. I got a lot of emails. That's not it. Here's the list. I got it. So I'm going to add everybody again. Adam, see if
It's
I can
coming
do
back
this.
up again. Oh, then we're back up again.
So
Have you got Adam's phone number?
I'm giving
Email?
Adam right now. Adam,
Yeah.
AM, in the circles. Invitation.
It's Adam Silver.
Yeah. I sell products. Let's see. Copy. I'm going to drop it in here. I know I put an invitation out him to yesterday.
Yeah, but he's waiting.
Well, no, he should have. I don't think he's. I just sent it again,
All right, great.
and I don't think he is. Oops. Share the link. It's already public. Let me try this again. Invite. So anyway, let me.
Yeah.
What you need to do is create a circle. I need to create a circle with whoever is going to be in the group,
Yes, you do.
and just send that out.
Yeah.
One thing is on a lot of these names, I don't see a. Take a second here. Reinvent. There's 5 people to invite. I can invite some others too. I invite quite a few people, other people.
Yes, so you?
Now, did you see the invitation list?
No.
Let me try Amy. She's always interesting.
Yeah. I do.
Quick invitation, whatever. That's something new. So I just reinvited everybody.
Great.
Invitations posted. So that may be it.
All
People
right.
can come on. Well, hi, Jonathan. What do you want to talk about today? Your lighting is not good. You're backlit. It's best to turn and face into a window or have a lamp. I've got both.
What do you want me to do with the lamp?
If you have a lamp or lighting source, natural light coming in through a window is best. It's not good to have this here.
Just give me a second.
If you look at it, see how the back is lit up? I do like the colors green though. I see them. Well, that's a little better. as you know, I got the magic light out here. We got this here. This isn't, my 970 is not that clear today. It's almost clear when you go up on the other camera. Watch.
What about our guest? Is she going to talk to us?
She was eating an apple last time she left the text. Turn your text
Oh,
on.
right.
Let's see if how this looks.
Oh yeah, that's better.
So that's my camera off my iMac.
Yeah,
A little different.
it looks better.
Yeah, it's interesting. So that's off iMac, and I can get more lighting here too.
Well, if nobody joins us, I suggest that we do a hangout about which is going to be about our next real podcast, which is going to be about speed.
Speed, yeah. How do you
Yeah,
know
and
what? Yeah, that's good.
we
I've actually got some.
if nobody turns up we just get on with that. So the
I have
time
someone
is
we can bring in on the speed podcast too. I
yeah,
guess.
sure, yeah, sure.
He's really good. He's out of Texas. I've interviewed him on Timelines of Success. That's that way.
Oh, Adam's come back. Has he emailed you?
Do you put the on the air link on the Hangout page? When I finish breakfast, I'll go upstairs to my real computer and put the headsets on and join. Okay. Sally is eating. She's going to join us, which will be good.
Yeah, Adam's saying, which email did you send it to?
Whatever email you gave me.
That's a bit of a. Can you email him again?
Huh?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm going
I'm going to email him back again. Right.
No, I'm going to forward to you. Here's what I did. There they are. I just sent them. I just forwarded you your email. I just put invitations on. Are they all in Google Plus?
Yeah.
So let me see if I can share the link. Watch this. Copy. I wish I had an email. I wish I just had an email with all our emails. Could you just send me an email with all our emails?
I did. I did.
No, you sent me an email with all our emails cut and paste.
Yeah. All right. Oh, you want me? Oh, all right then. I think I got one. Just wait a second.
And this is what was sent out.
Wow. It's a bit late. This was all left to the last minute as usual.
No, it's not last minute. This is just how it goes. You can't on Google Plus.
Yeah.
It's sort of hard to figure out, and you just sort of
Go with it.
you logged on. But my question is, what happened to the invitation from last night? I'm going to turn up my sound too.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. A little higher gain. Let's see. Join the video call with Bill. Join the video. 2 others joined the video call. That must be you. So I'm getting a good on this video call. I'm getting good reports coming out.
Are you losing me? Is there other people joining us?
When do I hear? Yeah, Sally is going to join us. Sally, can you pull up the chat thing on the side, the little chat box, and you can see the chat.
All right, Theo.
Pull up the chat.
Oh yeah, I see it now. Yeah.
I was talking to Sally at 9 o'clock before you. Then you came on. You haven't come on yet in the chat.
Oh, come on now.
But I can see over here. Let me try something. No, it doesn't work. So,
there you go. You can see me now in chat.
Are you in chat? Oh, there you are. Hi. Hi, Jonathan. Okay. Sally, yeah, Sally got you too. So Sally came on right at 9 o'clock. So she got the invitation and executed. And you got an invitation too, but I don't know why you didn't come on. I've got this Google Hangout going well towards like doing presentation, but the invitation.
Poor old Adam's having a bit of trouble.
Who is? Forward me your emails.
Yep, actually I can see in here. Just can join you all. He's losing me there a little bit. What he's? I'll forward this to you, Bill.
Forward me the emails.
He's losing me a little bit.
Because Sally's got it. Maybe Sally could give us a lesson. Oh, I missed your invitation, but watching. Okay, I'm going to put Deborah back on. Don't know why Deborah didn't come. Deborah, I'm going to actually invite you right now because Deborah's watching. We're going to figure this out. So we go to here, go to Deborah. Deborah, we're going to put you in there. How's your new mic? Let's see. Okay, Deborah, I just put an invitation out for you to log in.
I've just sent poor old Adam's emails to you.
I'm sending everybody invitations. I know. Oh, there you go. We'll get this to work.
So you're going to send.
Deborah's pretty good in WordPress.
All right.
Hopefully she comes up. So there's Adam. Yeah, there's Adam. Let me see something. Adam, why don't you come up on? So he's inside the circle. For Adam, it's called Ken.
Can you hear me?
Oh, hi,
Yes.
got you, Deborah.
Yeah, we need it.
Ken Porter is the other person. It's not Adam. Is actually Ken Porter. Because I just did a circle on him. Adam,
Can you hear me?
If you put him in a circle, he comes up Ken Porter.
Yes, I heard you.
Okay.
So I'm going to add Ken Porter. Adam is actually Ken Porter.
Are you sure?
Yeah. On the circles, he is Ken Porter.
No, well, maybe it's alias.
This is going to be an interesting practice session. We'll get this going. Hey, Deborah, it's good. We got the Reno crowd here. That's important.
Well, that's good.
So we had a slow start. Let me see.
Yeah, I had a little bit of issues with my setup.
Did you get it last night, the invitation?
Yes, I did.
Good, and it worked. I'm on the link. Ken Porter. Here's Ken Porter. So here is Ken Porter. Wait a second. That's not the same Ken Porter.
No, I didn't think it would be.
No, honestly, when I go over Adam, his name,
Yeah.
he comes up as Ken Porter at silverproducts.net.
Yeah, that's his company.
But that, I mean, it comes up, it's Ken Porter comes up.
Oh, right. Can you email him and ask him what he's up to? Is he going to join us? Can you email him?
I'm on his site right now. Ken Porter Auctions. It looks like Ken Porter Auctions. Wow.
I don't know.
That is so weird.
All right. Can you email him and try and get him to join?
Yeah. Hey, this.
Oh, he's come back to me again. All right, here he is. Come on.
And close that.
Oh, where is he? Adam, come on, Adam, you can do it. Oh, you're right, though. Oh, there he is.
I just got a different Ken Porter, whoever that is.
It is
Deborah,
him.
you look nice today.
Oh, he sent me some. I think he sent me another email address. Here we go. I'm gonna. He's asking for this. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Give him circles here.
Try that, Bill. I've just put it in the the chat.
That's good. I'll just cut and paste from chat here.
Yeah.
Oh, right there. Interesting.
Send that to him. The
Copy email address. And I've got. Okay, here we go. Another person. Paste. Yeah, I think people. It's better that people have. That's what I want. HTS. It's better that people have. Invite. Wonder what a quiet invitation is. I just invited him.
Oh, great.
You lost the sound, Deborah, huh? I can hear Jonathan and I are talking fine. Can you talk? Move your mouth.
What, me?
Not you, Deborah. Deborah, clap. We got somebody. There we go. Adam just showed up.
Oh, good old Adam.
Welcome, Adam.
Hey, guys.
Hey, I can hear him.
Adam, you done it.
I'm learning. I don't know what's going on. I can put Adam in the circles.
Adam, we thought you were going to make it, mate.
Yeah, I'm here.
Adam, where are you from?
Southern Cal.
Oh, we're in Southern Cal.
I'm in Redondo Beach.
Oh, Redondo.
Yes.
Don't they call that East Bay or something?
South Bay.
South Bay.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Perfectly.
Oh, really well. Can you hear us?
Yeah. I'm going to see. What am I using? What microphone am I using right now? Let's see. Settings.
You sound really good, whatever you're using.
Oh yeah, cool. I'm good to go.
We were talking to Deborah, but Deborah can't hear us now, or we can't hear her.
Yeah, well, and Sari, what's happened to her?
Let me change my camera again. Oops.
Oh, you're going to change your camera again. Yeah.
I didn't mean to do that.
Right.
Yeah, that Ken Porter Auctions connection is because I am the social media manager, director of social media and internet marketing for them. And
okay,
the minute I tied it together, I manage the G Plus account there. It just everyone sees me for some reason. That name overwrites. I don't know. Somehow Google mucked it up. So when I eventually leave there, I will have to disconnect all that stuff.
Yeah, it's a real mess.
Yeah.
You know, I love Google, but some of their stuff, it's mind-numbing, isn't it?
I do some amazing things with Google, though, broadcasting from, like, presentations of people. I mean, you can really do some good broadcasts. I've done not broadcasts, but they captures on YouTube, and I'll just set it up and capture the luncheon speech.
Right.
And that's to me, that works as well as anything.
Oh, it looks like Sally's joined us. Where are you, Sally? Are you going to sleep?
Apple a second ago. She caught me early on. She was the first on eating my breakfast.
We're waiting for Sally, really. Oh, she's moved.
Oh, there she goes.
Oh,
I can actually see her. Sally, where are you from? No, we can't hear her.
There we go.
Maybe I muted her. Maybe.
Let's see. Can you hear me?
There, I can hear you now.
Okay. I am the organizer of the East Bay WordPress Meetup, which meets in Oakland, California on the third Sunday of the month at 1 p.m.
Oh, good. So we got South Bay and we got East Bay. South Bay being down Redondo Beach. That's very good. Let me see something. Let me try to see it, Jonathan. Oh, there's Jonathan. Now I got it.
Well,
I'm a consumer of... This is good.
Oh, well, Deborah's disappeared, though.
Yeah, Deborah was having problems with sound. She could try.
Yeah, her chat says she's going to try.
Right.
Yeah,
right. So, shall we get on with the proceedings, Bill?
Sure. Why don't you lead it?
Right then, folks. So, basically, this is our first where we did a bit of outreach and saw if some of the other groups would join in. Just have a quick discussion about one topic a month, and both of you kindly agreed and you've come on, and we're hopefully going to get a couple other people join in. And basically the very loose subject is plugins, mostly plugins. There are some themes as well, but I'm not too happy with themes, but plugins that can help either with rapid development or with users, owners of websites to do minor changes. And I just wanted to see what your experiences are of is any that you've used yourself, and what's your general position on utilising them?
Ladies first.
Okay. I've used the Themify Builder a bit only within Themify themes, and I thought it was intriguing. I haven't really used it a lot in practice. I'm really curious to see somebody demonstrate Conductor, because it's gotten a lot of buzz, but it's sort of like, well, that's a little pricey for me to buy just to investigate and then decide later, no, I really don't want to use that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I interviewed him on our podcast a couple of weeks ago, and he's a great guy. And I've looked at it myself, and I probably will buy a version of it. I think he gives a money-back guarantee, though. I think if you try it and you absolutely can't get on with it, he will give you your money back. And Matt's a pretty straight guy, and he run me through it a couple of times, and it does look a pretty amazing system and a plugin. I personally think there's definitely is a need for something like that in WordPress, because I do get a lot of frustrated people that have built a website for, and they just want to do some layout changes, and they're restricted by what is available either in the theme or in the content area. They just want a bit more flexibility in moving their stuff around, and they feel frustrated. So what's your experience of these kind of plugins, Adam?
Well, so the question, so really to allow the user, the client, to make the changes themselves?
Well, in the actual page, in the framework of the page or post, I'm not talking about letting them loose on the whole thing.
Right.
Just,
I mean, I've gone as far as to, I've never done it through a plugin. I mean, I'll do a custom post type, so that limits them to how and where, how to do certain things, because it's beyond just a page or a post. It's the bane of my existence. For one site in question, it's a recipe site, a client of mine, and this client. It's a tough call. I can't say. There's a familiar relationship between the client and myself. She's family, so love her to death. But the problem is she doesn't really blog the typical way. Usually, food bloggers blog a recipe and then they show up later on in a recipe page. She's the opposite. She does a recipe on a recipe page technically, and then every now and then we'll copy and paste information back to the blog side of it. So based on that, I did a custom post type, because most recipe plugins don't work backwards; they work forwards. In a typical way. Anyway, long story short, I've done the CPT way. The work I do on the development side, I use Headway as my theme of choice, which most of my clients don't need anything more than that. They just need to go when they need to have the look they want, and then from there we go to they just add content. If they want changes, some of my clients, I train them, I teach them some stuff what they can do. But otherwise, they come back to me. They're low maintenance, and that's what I like about them. I only take on so many clients at a time, and certain types of clients. If it's beyond that, then I'll source it or refer it.
Yeah. So you think, I'm getting the impression that you think that these plugins aren't going to be used for minor changes. They're just for people that are wanting to build a whole website themselves.
Yeah, I mean the other plugin. I mean, I'm trying to think of another way to word it. I mean, it depends on what the purpose is. It really depends on what the changes are needed. I try to educate and help guide the client to not doing people. Here's the thing: people don't come to your site for the look of it. Unless you are a designer, no one's going to look at your site for how it looks. They want to look clean and nice and relevant, but the content's the key. Produce good, relevant content, and that's your job. Once the site is designed, once that aspect of it's done, then move on. And I mean, look at Craigslist. I use that. I teach a WordPress class here in town. Craigslist has changed very little over the past 15 years.
And it was deliberately designed to have no design from the beginning.
Exactly. And it's they finally did some minor updates. They've done some back end stuff, some UI, but the UI actually is 1% change in the past 10 years.
Well, and they've actually set it up so that you can put less design in your postings.
Right. They took away the linkability, like all these little things. They've actually cut stuff out. They've changed the servers. I mean, I've done all this research because part of my other job is I do some Craigslist posting for them, and they made it difficult to do certain things because they don't want just total spam. They want to have some control. They start charging for posting ads in Los Angeles now for cars. You have to pay $5 if you're a dealer.
Wow. Hey, look at Drudge Report. Drudge Report hasn't changed at all, and it's huge. It's drudge.com.
Right.
I mean, I'm new to WordPress, but I created my WordPress site for my podcast. Actually, I learned podcasting, then learned WordPress, and I've learned a lot, and I want to learn more. But,
I came to WordPress through podcasting.
Yeah, that's me too. But if you look at my site, it's Timelines of Success or BluffTV.net, which you're both welcome to come on. They're just real simple sites, but they work, and they're clean, they're fast.
I came from WordPress. Just real quick, I didn't really do an intro. I mean,
we should do intros. Sorry, it's the first time.
Once again, ladies first.
Okay, I'll go with that. You're up, Sally. You get to do the intro.
So I discovered WordPress in 2005, and it was mainly through podcasting. My first encounter with blogging was Blogger. I had come across B2. I mean, somebody was introducing blogging. I went to my then hosting company and saw what do they have, and they had. They didn't have WordPress yet, although WordPress had been invented. B2 was just a little too confusing. I found Blogger. I installed the self-hosted version. Some of you may not know that there used to be a self-hosted version of Blogger. And I switched that blog from Blogger to WordPress at the time that Blogger discontinued having a self-hosted option because I don't like hosted services. But I came back to WordPress a little later that year because that was what everybody used for podcasting because of the PodPress plugin, which preceded the PowerPress plugin that everybody uses today. And I just got sucked into WordPress, and I became the organizer of the East Bay WordPress Meetup in 2009.
Nice.
Wow.
Okay,
So-
I'm sorry.
Sorry about that.
Go
So
for
Deb-
it.
Go.
Oh, my name is Debbie. I started using WordPress a couple years ago when I needed to build my website for my business, so I've been learning on my own as I go. I hadn't done any blogging or anything else like that, but I've always liked to fiddle with computer stuff. I did gaming and building my computer or upgrading my computer and stuff like that, so taking on WordPress wasn't too difficult for me.
Deb, give us one of your sites. I meant to ask everybody for their site because you do a really good job, especially for how you've done everything for the. I don't want to say cheap, but for free.
My website is Envision Hypnosis. It's NV as in Nevada, so it doesn't start with an E.
I'm going there right now. I'm joking.
And I had to remove some content because of some things that were going on right now.
Because
so I've got
Nevada is not as free as California.
Yeah.
True story.
So
I'm from California originally, and I'm really shocked that Nevada, other than having no taxes, is not as free as California, except you can have guns here.
But on my website, the hidden pages that I have an appointments app. My store kind of crashed because I had moved some stuff, so I have to fix that. Of course, I had all my PayPal and my gateways integrated, and I had all kinds of other content. And right now, I was using free content. Now I decided to use what's called the 7. And what I love about that is that theme is that I can change the theme to 7 different setups, actually. So this comes with so much flexibility to it. I can do so much with it. That's what I liked about it.
Nice.
You have really good SEO when you come on your site. It's really developed with all the breakdowns of your different pages. How long have you had it?
I've actually had the website for about 2 years now, and I used a free site for about 1.5 years. But I was looking for something that I could had freedom of choice in colors, design, platform. If I needed to change it later on, I could make it a status page, I could make it a photograph page, I could make it very interactive, and I could do that with this theme, and it gave me a lot of choices, and I've been using this theme for about probably 4 to 6 months now.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I wish I had your interview up right now because I could refer it. It's a really good interview. If you listen to the first 5 to 10 minutes of the interview, you'll know about the person, the background, and I do basically an interview formatted system, which is about 25 minutes, and you basically learn about that person. So it's good to refer to. I wish I had that link up. I should have yours up. I took a vacation for 2 weeks.
How dare you?
How dare you?
I actually climbed Mount Whitney too. So and I did 9 interviews in Southern California. Yeah, some of them are going to be some pretty high-end interviews, face to face.
Good. Adam next.
Oh, hi. So as you can see, I just got my my little thing going there.
What's your website?
So I'm at kitchensinkwp.com. It's where I share what I know for free. I have my other company, it's Silver Lining Productions. It's where people hire me. And so I run the South Bay WordPress Meetup here in Southern Cal. We're up to about 180 people. I started it in the area because of just, I'm wearing my WordCamp LA shirt, but which was 3 weeks ago. It was awesome. I started it.
Was it sold out?
I would have so liked to go, except I actually had to be at a different conference in LA that same weekend.
What conference?
It's called ECC.
Okay. Yeah, cool. It was sold out. It was awesome. We had a great time. We did a Foundation Friday, so we had a beginner track on Friday, designer track, and a business track. I spoke in the beginner track. So I run the South Bay Meetup. I have a podcast also. Weekly, comes out Mondays, and I teach a WordPress 101 class here in town. And I came to WordPress from I spent a couple days with Joomla, and we broke up.
That's all it would take.
Yeah, no, actually, I spent a little longer. I spent about 2 months. I was working for a company in Colorado at the time, and we're trying to do an in-house website, and I messed with it, but then the company went under, and so I left, and I ended up coming back to California for a different job. I was hosting a web show on camera, yada yada, and I got laid off. And really, the reason I came to WordPress, I started with Blogger also for my photography site. I do some corporate commercial photography. Less these days, just because everyone thinks they're a photographer. Because if you have, a phone, you are a professional photographer.
That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. So I mean, my kids are actually making huge money. No, I'm kidding. So so I came back to. I needed a new website for my photography, which is under silverliningphotography.net. I went ahead and redesigned that in WordPress, and then but it just kind of fell back in my lap and helping people out and teaching the class, and then the meetup, and then the podcast. So I'm in week 31 tomorrow for my podcast, and my podcast is short, 15-20 minutes.
What's it about?
I kind of go over tips and tricks. I mean, just things I can share. Try to share audio is tough for what we do, and I also try to add an interview at least once a month with either designers, developers, or end users, people who actually use. Why they if you're a small business owner, why did you pick WordPress to use for your business?
Oh, that's good.
So yeah,
Jonathan, I think you have a guest.
Yeah, I mean, and then yeah, I mean, I'm digging the meetup, and I like it all. I love sharing what I can share, and my teaching. I'm actually teaching I teach WordPress 101 for 5 weeks, and I'm also doing a podcasting class in October for the same South Bay Adult School.
Really? So they hired you to teach?
Yeah, they want more classes, so I pitched like 10 of different classes, social media, all the stuff we know, but they said, let's try podcasting. So right now we have 2 or 3 people signed up. We'll see if it happens or not. They need at least 7 to make it a go and pay me. And I don't do it for the money, honestly. I mean, I'm not paid much. I do it for the community, and then I become the area person where the people come to. So, yeah. And I freelance, I have like, half a dozen clients. So,
podcasting is growing in leaps and bounds.
There's actually there's a conference this weekend in LA.
Yeah, the Hollywood one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big one. A friend of mine's there, but I'm not going. It's like $100, and I had you guys booked. Sorry.
I know it's the one with the comedians.
Yeah. My friends from college. I mean, my background, I have a degree in theater. I was an actor and a comic for a long time. So one of my friends, she's there. I'm just not funny or good looking. So. Thank you for your whole week.
There's also a podcast meetup in Dallas, Texas. Yeah. Last month, I think.
Yeah.
That LA one would have been nice. I meant to go to that or try to go to that.
This one's pretty big. I mean, it's right. It's like the big wigs, if you will.
It's like the Hollywood insiders. I mean, you get the Adam Carolla's, I think, come to it.
Yeah. I'm not sure I know who he is. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Easy. It's
called LA Podcast Festival. It's called.
Right.
Shall I do mine then, Bill?
You should go ahead, Jonathan. Let me put you up.
Right. So, I'm the main organizer of the Reno Words monthly meetup for WordPress. We meet at the Reno Collective, which is a co-hosting building. I'm also a member of that. I'm a web designer, WordPress developer. I've been doing it for about 6 years. I have my own business called Digital Delirium, and it's just I just do general WordPress work and get clients that have no idea how they're going to get people to their website. They're not so interested in WordPress, but they are interested in me helping them, come with some rationality how we're going to move their business on. And I'm just in the midst of starting an online business myself called Mail-Right, which is taking up an enormous amount of my time as well.
Good. No, I'm just kidding. Just as a caveat, I tell people all the time, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how we get the websites working. I don't think the client really cares the technology that we use. And it shouldn't matter. It should matter that they get what they need within budget and time frame that we've agreed upon, just as a sideline.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
I mean, that's just one of my... Or I could be totally BS. I don't know.
Oh, I don't think so. But I've got to say that the topic, I had reservations about the topic, but the topic was what I and my co-host, it wasn't actually Bill, it was another
Mike?
facilitator. Mike.
We can say Mike.
Yeah. That's what our crowd wanted. That's one of their things. They wanted us to do a presentation on plugins that can help you make websites, and I didn't particularly want to do it, but and it seemed to go down really well, and we got a good turnout. So I think it does depend on what your crowd of your meetup is like. There was a couple of people I invited to this, and they will come on in future months, but they wouldn't actually come on this episode because they said we don't want to discuss this, we don't agree with it. Which I could understand, but I thought it was taking it a little bit too far myself. But I do have reservations about these plugins.
Okay, well, let me ask you this real quick. Since the topic is plugins and making them for websites to work, I mean, the other shirt I have, it says there's a plugin for that. It's from iThemes. I just had a conversation with another developer. Literally, he's a hard code coder, and he's anti-plugins because he's like, everyone thinks WordPress is easy and fast and cheap, and plugins. Everyone knows about the plugins. Well, you have to have plugins because core can only do so much. Out of the 80 million people, I'd say there's 1% of people who are hardcore developers who can write their own core additional functionality through functions PHP, through any PHP. But that's what WordPress was sold.
Add it to functions PHP.
Of course not.
What you do if you're a custom coder is you write your own plugins.
You write your own plugins. But yeah, it's there's 1% out of 80 million sites. There's no way that core can do it all. Most people don't want to do that. They want the site to be up and running and back to business. And I don't mind using plugins. I have a site right now that hasn't been updated since 2.84. Seriously, I am not joking. Has 19 plugins running, and some of them are hide update core notifications, hide plugin notification updates, and that's why the site hasn't been updated in 5 years. It's killing me.
I was going to ask you how many plugins you typically have on your client sites.
I average 7 to 8.
Good. Yeah, that seems if you get a good 7 to 8 that are working, those are manageable. But when you get along 19 or 20,
it's too many.
That's when you have problems.
It depends on the site. It totally depends on the site, what it needs, and it depends on the plugins, how efficient their code is.
Right.
It's not a matter of counting the plugins, whether they're going to slow your site down or be problematic.
Or not.
It's are they needed and how well are they coded? Now, a lot of the plugins in the repository are coded very badly. Let's not get ourselves about this. And this is part of why some of the people who, some people prefer to write their own stuff if they're any good at it. But then, okay, are they going to be tied to maintaining it for the rest of the time the client has that website?
Right.
There's that issue too.
Right. But as far as the client, I don't know. I just feel like people. So there are two camps. People use plugins way too many. Well, there's 3 camps. There's people who use the right amount to get the job done, and there's people who don't want to use them at all. They want to do their own custom. Well, that depends on where you like, what you need.
Right. I mean, I think there is this issue about, particularly with these kind of design and build oriented plugins, and with the themes. We did a couple of sessions, one a year ago and one recently this year, on these drag and drop themes.
Yeah.
And sort of, do they live up to their billing, and how easy are they to use, and what are their limitations, and that kind of thing. And that in some cases, I had, for this most recent session, I had installed and tested Ultimatum, and my conclusion about it was, well, you could probably do pretty much anything with it. And the learning curve involved is such that I would rather sit down and code it by hand.
Right, yeah.
That's a drag and drop?
Sort of. Yeah. It's a theme where it's like you can do this stuff without coding, but it's so complex that it's just as difficult. If you actually know how to code it, it's just as easy to do it with code. Yeah. And this is prompted an article I wrote recently called, Are We Misleading People About WordPress? That for some reason people have come to think that without knowing code is semantically equivalent to without knowing anything. And if you think about it, think about all these fiendishly complex software programs like Photoshop. You don't have to know any code to become an expert at Photoshop, but you have to spend an awful lot of time learning it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I have the
Exactly.
Adobe suites, and I work, of course, Adobe. I've had to learn a lot. I
Yeah,
consistently had to relearn.
but I think we've got a business owner here, and that's just why we asked Deb to join us, because a business owner that likes to do their own thing, you've got a bit of a different perspective to this. You actually like these tools that allow you see that as a liberation almost, don't you?
Well, yeah, I think if it's
Well,
something that's well designed, it lets an end user.
Oh, oh,
Go,
I
I'm
was,
sorry, Deb.
Mhm.
Go and
oh,
talk.
That's okay. What happened is I was pressed for time. I'm working full time. I'm starting my business part time, hoping that the business will replace the full time job.
right.
And I know I needed to be involved in every aspect of my business. Whether I get an accountant, I need to know where the money's going. If I get a website, I better know what's going on, because something happens and I don't have that person anymore. I don't want to be stuck with a website that I don't know what's going on. WordPress and all the plugins gave me that ability. I had to go and learn it, but it was worth it. I didn't have the money to go spend more time or even the time to go to school, so WordPress created that venue for me. I mean, granted, no matter what it is that you're going to do, you're going to have to learn. I'm still learning other aspects about my business. It's still a growing business. I do continuing education for my profession. I'm still going to constantly learn. I still have to invest in it, and we have to ask, is it worth it? How valuable is it to me? And that's what I liked about this thing. I learned a lot about WordPress and doing it. I enjoy doing it. I've made a lot of mistakes along the way. Obviously, I do have some plugins in there that I'm not using that I need to get rid of, and that's probably what caused my store to crash. So, but I'm still learning. I don't know much about code or anything. I thought about going to school for it, but that would be taken away from what I'm really trying to do here, and that's get my website going for the purpose of my business, which is hypnosis. So.
And I meet a lot of owners like that. But I think it's a balance. I actually think this is one of the things I wanted to. I thought having some group organisers on is that I think this balance could cause WordPress a lot of trouble, because in the end, it could getting the right balance between these different groups is going to be difficult. And in the end, it could cause WordPress a lot of trouble trying to be all things to all people. I just wondered what our guests think. Is there a right balance, or is that balance just going to find itself? What do you think is going to happen in the next year?
I think WordPress has been struggling with this issue for quite a while, and I don't know if there's exactly a perfect solution for it. It's part of why you've seen a lot of new blogging tools come up, that why you see things like Medium and Ghost and whatnot appear, because if all you want to do is blog, WordPress is no longer really the best choice.
Yeah.
Or at least not the easiest choice. But if you want to blog and do some other things, if you want a simple content management system for a business that it's still possible to learn how to use without a lot of background, as long as you're willing to put some time into it. And it's like, as Deb just said, she had to spend some time learning. It was possible for her to learn. She didn't have to go to school. She didn't have to become a programmer, but she had to go through some trial and error. It's the problem is when you advertise something or you lead people to believe that they can pick it up instantaneously without having to go through any learning curve at all.
And I think the other thing, there's been a lot of discussion in the meetups, in the general community, that attacking themes that have a lot of functionality built in the theme. And don't get me wrong, I think having a theme that's totally filled with shortcodes and having it displayed on on a certain theme depository that I won't mention. Having a theme that is basically it's misleading because it's developed with a load of shortcodes. I don't agree with that. But on the other hand, saying that all the functionality should be in plugins, because in my experience, most business owners, unless there's somebody like Deb that wants to get really involved in it, the traumatic experience of actually trying to get a website up and running that actually does the job and has the, they don't want to go back to it anytime soon. So they never changed the theme until the site is so old.
But I've seen this go a couple of ways, because I've seen people say, okay, well, we saw this amazing theme that does this and this and this and this and this, and we wanted it, and then they install it and they go eek, and run away because all the theme options are so terrifying to them.
It's true. I mean,
getting it set up to look like the demo is not very intuitive.
So I tell people all the time that 11 years ago, when WordPress came out, it was marketed, if you will, marketed as free and easy, and it still is marketed that way. It's free and easy. If you want WordPress.com in your domain, you can be up and running in 5 minutes.
Set up a blog on WordPress.com. Dead
it's
easy.
Free and easy. The minute you want more customization and/or your own hosting, I mean, they now offer, they'll mask it and give you a domain, which they get, they sell. They offer you support services. I mean, Automatic's a great company. They make a lot of money. I know people who work there. I mean, I've applied and I will reapply. My timing wasn't great. They take care of their employees, yada yada. You can work from anywhere in the world, but you want free and easy. It is to this. The minute you want customization and anything more, there's a learning curve, and it depends on where you want to go. And that's why people ask me, why did I pick Headway? Because the reason why, there are 2,600 themes in the repository as of last week. I can't know all those themes and settings. So for what I offer to my clients, I chose a theme, and I get to know it really well. And even that has too much depth for most of my clients. Yeah.
Hey, can I ask a quick? Sorry about that. You know what? I should really be paying attention, because I think the person who does what I'm doing actually needs to focus on running this up. Actually, listening to your ideas and thinking of stuff. Hey, Michael Hyatt's, I meant to put this up. Michael Hyatt's theme, you're probably familiar with it, Adam. What do you have you looked at that? What do you think of that theme? I mean, that's interesting because he's designed it just for podcasters, and I think he's made a lot of money. On this.
I'm not actually familiar with that. Put that link up.
I used to listen to his podcast. I don't lately.
Yeah. By the way, last week I said I like to listen to some new podcasts on one of the Facebook groups, and I listened to about 15 different new podcasts. My brain is spinning.
I listen to 20 podcasts a week. I'm 8 hours in the behind right now, but I don't listen to radio a whole lot anymore. Anyway, yeah. Michael Hyatt's, I liked it originally. Now I don't. It's funny. I talked to another podcaster who's doing great things out there, and he'd hit me up. He's like, "Hey, what about he wanted me to start with him a theme development little pseudo company to where we would market towards specifically podcasters." I'm like, yeah, we could, but it's not what my goal was. It wasn't where I was leaning. So, he and I are still really good friends. But Michael's probably has made money on his because he has a huge audience.
Right. I think
which he deserves,
And the other question I just want to follow up on real fast, there's a new player out there. I can't think of the name of it, but I just put where there's an example, EO Fire.
David. EO Fire is what's his name?
It's a plugin, and it's got the that's John Lee Dumas.
John Lee Dumas.
I just did it because of the plugin, and Dave, another friend of mine, has the plugin too. But it's got downloads, iTunes, Stitcher, and SoundCloud in a quick. Check out that player.
I like to say there are a lot of the smaller theme foundries that are looking now to try and compete with the big gorillas in the market. They're looking at specialising in a particular industry, like church themes or restaurant themes or that's.
Simple Podcast Press appears to be what the plugin is called.
What's that?
Simple Podcast Press.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah,
that's it. But you are seeing this, that the smaller theme foundries are kind of now looking at specialising in a particular industry or a particular kind of style, whatever. They're kind of narrowing their niche But the truth is, but then you got like Theme Forest. Their biggest selling theme has been the X theme, and which is a theme that does almost every. It goes against almost anything that you would hear in a group meetup. That's a good theme. It's one of these enormous themes that literally can do everything. Yeah, it's the biggest seller on Theme Forest. So
yeah, well, is it widely sold? Is it actually as widely used?
Right, huge difference.
Oh, what do you mean by that? Please explain.
I mean, do people buy it, try it, and then decide it's hopeless?
Right. Happens with plugins also.
Yeah.
Just because you have 1.2 million downloads doesn't mean you have 1.2 million installed users.
No, but they've sold a ton, and it kind of I cringe when I heard, because I think it was on WP Elevation. No, not on WP Elevation. It was on another podcast where one of the owners of the X theme was being interviewed, and he was talking about how they marketed and it was a great interview, but I kind of just cringed when I was listening to it. But it kind of really showed the contradictions of the market, really, didn't it?
Well, there's people have different priorities too, and if you look at what's popular versus what's tasteful, there are vast differences in those two things.
True words. Yeah, you got a good point there, Sam.
So just on a quick side note, Deborah, you're standing so still. It's like I'm afraid you're trying to hypnotize me. I'm sorry, it's killing me. It's killing me. I'm like, is she still there? Is it a static image? What am I? I do not know what to do. I'm sorry.
I was just sitting here, just listening.
I know you have the background's all nice and solid. It's like you're all clean.
It's a very professional background, isn't it?
What's the deal there? You got a white. I've never seen this.
Everything. I'm telling you, everything I've done is just budget-based. You would not believe what I got going on here. I'm actually sitting on my bed, and I have my laptop propped on this book thing that I have. And off my laptop, I have these lamps for lights.
Nice.
I don't know if you can see it. I have one on each side of my laptop, and that's a sheet, and there's a light behind it.
Right on. I'm the opposite. I have a studio. I mean, it's a little messy, but I have a standing desk. I have a new love. I'm standing up.
And you got your pop filter on.
It's much better for your voice.
Yeah.
So,
right.
If I take the off, it goes hello. I'm kidding.
So when you're a small business person starting out and you're working on a limited budget, you improvise. Oh, and then I bought the Go mic, and I've got it on my towel rack. So propped on a book.
Adam, you got the ATR 2100.
Cute. I also have I have a backup one here. I have a nice Sennheiser ME66. Yeah.
Nice.
Old school. Yeah.
Oh,
So, it's amazing what you can do to make it work. So
to kind of recap, to get a kind of final round of input and that is that I get the feeling from the panel, not from Deb, because obviously you're a business owner, and I think in some ways you like the function, but you're prepared to spend time learning it, But I get the general impression from our two other guests is that you think that maybe these kind of, and there's been a number of them, these kind of page builders, sometimes, I do like Matt, and he was a guest, but when Conductor was first released, some of the initial marketing messages that he broadcast kind of upset a few people in the WordPress community, which was, I don't know what happened there, but I get the feeling you think they're trying to sell something to people that's not the reality, that it's going to make it all much really.
I think it depends. I mean, I think these things are getting better. Some of them, it's, my husband has been using Visual Composer more on a particular site, and he's been fairly happy with it.
Yeah.
And I'd be curious to see Conductor. I wouldn't want to judge it without seeing it. um, so that it may make certain things easier. I'm not sure that whether they're good tools for clients. I think depends on the client.
Yeah.
Some people are there are the people who are the type who are going to instantaneously try to turn their site into the days of early desktop publishing when every flyer had 13 different fonts in 12 colors. You just really.
You're talking about one of our websites. You've seen some of my work, haven't you?
You just didn't want to. You want to give them as little control over that sort of stuff as possible, so they don't just completely destroy what you built. And other people who, if you show them how to use the tool, they'll be able to, add some stuff to their site and manage it all right. I'm working on a project now where the client doesn't have a lot of budget and does want a number of different types of page layouts, and a tool like that is, possibly the best way to solve it, because otherwise you end up having to create a bunch of custom templates, and then they have to pay for coding time, and then yes, hello, this is BC.
Nice.
She knows when I'm on the phone. I used to teach WordPress classes through Media Bistro, and the cats would always come in when I was so I think that they probably have a place. It's figuring out which tools are best for what, and and which ones deliver the best value versus having a lot of hype, and trying to avoid overselling the ease of use, because I think in many cases these are tools where when you become familiar with them, they can be big time savers, but you still have to learn how to use the tool first.
Right. Versus going squirrel.
Yeah.
Because there's 20 plugins that do the same thing, just a different way, and that's half the battle, is to say, okay, what works for me right now? What can I be good with, and what's going to be supported, etc.
Right. What's going to play nicely with my other plugins?
Right.
What's going to be relatively efficient? I mean, this was the other thing I wondered about Conductor, because if you install a plugin that does this, well, you've got the overhead of the plugin.
Yes.
So is it going to be, is there going to be a trade-off of slowing your site down to load whatever the plugin does, and what does what kind of code does it output, and is it doing a lot to generate that, which wouldn't be happening if you were coding up a template yourself.
And that's why I'm going back to front page. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. It's flat. I'm going back to flat, no database, no SQL.
Well, seriously, if you want like a single page site, don't install WordPress.
Right.
There are things for which you don't want that. You really don't want a dynamic site.
I know. Oh, I know.
A quick question about Genesis and frameworks.
I was going to ask that. You must have read my mind, Bill.
So what I stumbled into Genesis, and I'm using Dynamic, and it seems like they're pretty fast sites.
I use Genesis a lot. I've never used Dynamic.
It's right.
I've never used Genesis. I use Headway. Headway's come leaps and bounds, and it got dinged a lot when I first joined on the Headway team of things. It's like 4 years ago, version 2. It was great for what it did, but it was early. It was a little slow. I know Grant Griffiths. I've talked to him. He's given me permission to use it in class, and they have gone through 3 major rewrites, and it is faster and stronger now than it ever has been, and deeper.
It's the $6 million man. It's stronger, faster.
Have you heard my opening of my podcast?
Mm.
Now listen to the opening of my podcast. It'll make total sense to you now. So, but I thought that's the reference. It's actually, you'll see my audio in there. But it's fast. So as far as frameworks go, some frameworks are faster and some are fat and slow. Genesis, Headway, Builder, all relatively quick and responsive. Not a responsive theme, but responsive as far as what they're pulling from the queries. So from my research has shown.
Yeah. So tell us about Dynamic.
Oh, Dynamic.
Yes, that's you, Bill.
I was looking at your website for the East Bay WordPress, your website, just now. That's a nice website. On Dynamic, I stumbled into it because all I wanted to use, I started out, first of all, I learned, I didn't really do an introduction. My background is that up to about 2007, I ran a design, well, up to 9/11, I ran a design build construction company. My wife had a real estate company. So in between my 5 deployments, I came back and I just played around with marketing and then learning how to do Exchange Server. So I had about a 2003 Exchange Server working really well up to about 2007. And I had Act Contact Management. Our company was doing real well, a real estate company in California. Then I went on a 5-year mission in the military. Back to Leavenworth, but I was using old technology, basically in the military in the classified realm. So I come
What a
back.
surprise!
No, honestly, it works, but it's very secure. It's just complicated. But I
Yes.
come back and I'm in a whole new world. I spent 40 months of those 5 years in Afghanistan. So I come back and there's a whole new world, and I'm having to relearn. So I just watched YouTube for 2 months. Then I learned how to do WordPress. But my mission was to take our California real estate company in Modesto and start another company in Reno. So I'm just doing that this year. I spent a year just sort of relearning what happened in the last 5 years, because a lot happened. And I basically learned WordPress by going by WordPress. I started by going to the meetup here in Reno with Jonathan and Mike Fitzpatrick. And now I've gone to the next level. I've studied. I'm just a user. So that's me. Bottom line is I'm trying to set up a real estate company. So anyway, Dynamic, I got into it because I saw John Lee Dumas, and I just copied his page for my WordPress site. I know, literally, that's what I tried to do, and I'm just playing around. So I think Dynamic, for me, with a limited number of plugins, is very fast and very easy, and I haven't had many problems. And I'm learning from Jonathan. I'm really leery before I put a plugin on my site. I probably have 14 little sites. I have Bluehost, and I have 14 WordPress sites. So where I think I do get really good is trying to help moderate something like this, where I'm just learning how to do Google Plus Hangouts. I've really done some neat things with Google Plus Hangouts too. If you go to one of my sites, it's the rmc.club. It's a nonprofit, and I've actually used Google to record and upload real fast luncheons at the Atlantis. So stuff like that I'm doing. That's me. So anyway, I'm not really a good guy to talk about Dynamic. Jonathan probably talk more about it. I'm going to learn Dynamic. I'm stick with Genesis and Dynamic. That's what I'm going to do.
Well, I've been looking at Genesis. Obviously Studio Press, they're great people and they've got a great reputation. And I am really, because I am influenced by other developers, other people in the WordPress that I went down to the Sacramento WordPress meetup a couple of weeks ago, and I met with Jennifer Bourne and what's his name, the guy that runs 10up, and Jennifer and her husband have built their whole business on doing custom Genesis work, and there's a couple of other people that I'm highly influenced with. It's just, obviously there's a steep learning curve because you've got to learn all the functions and action, the filters and actions. But it's more philosophy. I don't see why I should have to use a framework on top of a framework, add something more complicated upon something that's already complicated if you really get into it. So I'm really kind of moving back and forth, should I, shouldn't I? And I really can't make my mind up about it. Should I really just use Genesis?
Analysis equals paralysis.
Pardon?
Analysis equals paralysis.
Exactly. You're absolutely
Yes.
right.
Well, once you get to know it, it can make a lot of things easier. But it's always that initial learning curve. I mean, I first encountered Studio Press before they had created the Genesis framework, and I was just really impressed with the quality of their code and the degree of the commenting they did on it, and the fact that it made it really easy to customize their themes because it was clear what was going on in them. And my first encounter with Genesis was like, WTF? Like, you open this PHP file and all it says is Genesis.
Oh yeah, it's tough when you start.
What do
It took me a few. Yeah.
But it's like once you start to understand what's going on, and that they have all these handy widget areas on their home pages, so that you can chop and change those and create new homepage layouts very easily, and that kind of thing, and the custom actions and hooks and things can make it much easier to create custom child themes. And then the advantage of having the framework and the parent theme is that you don't have to worry so much about maintenance, because StudioPress will maintain the framework and to handle all the updates and things, and you won't likely have to do very much updating of your child theme.
Well, the main thing that was pointed, I was listening to WP Water Cooler, and funny enough, I don't know if they cost, but their last, I think a couple of days ago, that they did a podcast where they're talking about a very similar thing that we are, and they were saying about the strength of Genesis is that when when you're doing a child theme, when you're doing a function, he said what a lot of people don't understand with if you're taking a normal theme, is if you take the function a copy of the function file and you put in your own functions, then it's kind of stuck there forever. And if the main thing gets there's new functions that come out with new capacity and you upgrade, that snapshot just stays as it is. Where with Genesis, that function file will always be maintained and it will be upgraded. So I thought they were explaining that they were explaining one of the clear benefits of using Genesis if you are kind of a developer type.
Right. I mean, I don't know that that's a particular benefit of Genesis versus other frameworks. I think it's the benefit of using a framework in general, that you don't have to start from the very beginning, and you don't have to and you can let a lot of the framework do a lot of the heavy lifting and the updating and the so on and so forth. But yeah, most people don't have the ability to become really intimate with more than one or two frameworks, so that then people tend to end up as specialists. So I do a lot of work with Genesis and a bit of work with other themes. I've done some child themes of the automatic default themes for people, and other work, but mainly it's Genesis.
Have you guys heard of Bill Erickson out of Texas?
I know the name.
So he's a developer, and he has a talk that he did on WordCamp Texas a couple years ago, maybe more than a couple years ago. And Greg Franklin, actually, of ServerPress, recommended me to watch it. And he has a great workflow. He has a great methodology. And it's actually on WordPress. It's on WordPress.tv if you look up Bill Erickson. And it's great. He is a developer, period. He realized that he makes most of his money in developing only in Genesis. That way, he's not a designer. If you need a design, he says go to one of these 5 people or 6 people, and that way he knows their work, and they, you hire that person. If you're the client, you hire the designer, and it may cost you $1,000 to have a Photoshop file designed, and then that designer sends him the PSD file layered, not just a PSD file flattened, but layered. And Bill knows Genesis well enough and knows how to develop well enough. He does a site in 2 weeks, period. And he has this whole thing online. You got to watch it. It's like 35, 40 minutes. It's well worth it. Anyone watching this later in the time frame, it's a great workflow. He limits his interactions. He's email only, no real phone calls, no wasting of time. And he does 2 weeks. Website's done. He gets paid 50% to be on the counter, 50% to on final Friday. It may not be live, but his work is done. So why shouldn't he get paid? And as developers, if you look at it that perspective, he's right. You want to keep your information on his test server. His name is Bill Erickson, just so you know. And you want to add content and photos on his test server, great, and then he'll migrate it for up to one of these other 5 hosts that he knows. If it's not one of those 5 hosts, he gives you 30 minutes of his time to figure, because a lot of hosts have different interactions, different cPanel setups, whatever it may be.
Yeah, they do.
So he's got it down to a science. He built a CRM on top of Genesis, so he can actually watch all the processes. He's busy. I just referred someone to him actually. There's a job that came up for me in Texas, and I don't have the time for it, nor did I have some of the expertise to even outsource the pieces. I'm busy. I'm doing a much better job these days of setting expectations with my own clients. Like, yes, I can take that on, but I won't start until this date. If you want to wait, great. If you don't, okay. I say no more than I say yes lately. It's huge difference in mindset. That's a whole separate issue. Sorry, but it comes back to what you were saying, Sally, about knowing one or two frameworks or knowing one or two themes really well, get to know them, and that's that. Focus on that because there's no way you can know everything. It's impossible.
So what both of you seem to be suggesting is that I really should, make my mind up and
yes.
look at Genesis.
Well, it's it does take getting to know. So it's sort of like, well, it's not that hard to set up any individual Genesis child theme.
Right.
But if you really want to develop for Genesis, then it takes time to get to know it, and so you can. But if you invest that time, then you will find yourself working more and more with it. So even if you don't make a conscious decision to be a Genesis developer, you will kind of find yourself being a Genesis developer because you will have less time to become expert in something else.
I mean, I do hourly work for about 4 clients, non-Headway, they bought a theme from somewhere else, and I charge them more per se because it's hard. I raise my prices in general because of WP Watercooler, actually, about their conversation I was on last month or this month. I don't know. What month are we in?
September.
What's today?
September.
Yeah, okay.
27th. End of September.
I just wrote, it's
September.
a tough one.
So it's a matter of I raise prices because our time is valuable as developers, and business, and that is being a business, and if I'm unsure of a theme, because every theme has so many layers and options and waste of options. I mean, one of the themes I'm working on right now is Avita.
Yeah, I've worked on that.
I mean, it's a nice looking theme, but it has so many different. It's crazy complex, and the client has invested a lot of money on a previous developer who dropped the ball. So then she came to me to help her, and I'm helping as best I can, but it's a lot of choices.
See, this is the contradiction of WordPress, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
In the conversation we've just had,
right?
You got people think you just go to a theme shop, you buy a theme,
and you're up and
that's
done.
the end of the story.
Here's the best answer is this: WordPress. It depends.
Yes, that's well put, actually. You got it in one, really, haven't you? It depends, doesn't it?
I mean, it's always like, what do you do for this? Well, it depends. The answer to every WordPress conversation is, if you say, what theme should I use? What do you say? It depends.
Yeah. What kind of site do you want?
Right. What kind of plugin do I use? What do I want to use for e-commerce? It depends. I mean.
Right. Are you selling 5 things? Are you selling 5,000 things?
Is it a digital download? Is it a physical product? I mean,
right.
It's killing me. I'm gonna go register to itdependswordpress.com.
Yes.
Or WP. You can't use WordPress in a TLD.
That's right.
I got a warning on that before I took Kitchen Sink. I owned kitchensinkwordpress.com, and I was at New Media Expo 2013. And the minute I said it out loud to Automatic, a friend of mine was there. I'm like,
oh yeah, no, I had registered a domain and got this is probably back in about 2009. Got a very polite note from.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oops, yes, I should have known that.
Yeah, so I kept it. I mean, I already paid for it.
Domains.
I kept it and forwarded it to just the WP version of mine. And then when it came up for renewal, I just let it go. I'm like, why pay $15?
I've got one other question, guys.
Okay. One more.
Yeah, I was going to talk about time. Right now we're at 10:19.
Yeah, then we call it.
We want to tie it all together by about 10:25 or 10:30.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Hey, well, thanks too for everybody.
Right, and I managed to get my San Francisco WordCamp ticket.
Oh wow! Congratulations.
I'll be there.
Are you going, folks?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll be there. I got the first round of tickets. I bought a ticket when I was number 3. I was one of the first 50. I saw it, bought it, done.
Wow! Congratulations.
So
I didn't even know that they had it.
Yeah. Yeah, WordCamp San Francisco is the big daddy. You know, actually, I proposed, I submitted a talk as well, and I didn't get selected. I'm okay.
Yeah. I have tickets, but I don't know if I'll be there. We may have to be out of the country.
Oh.
So.
Running from the law? Do you want to go into that? No.
Family
out of town. I'm sorry. I don't mean to make fun. I mean.
That's the kind of stuff I'd come out with.
Do you guys go?
They're good.
Are you going to go to WordCamp Las Vegas?
I am thinking about it, but it's actually a longer trip than getting to San Francisco.
Yeah.
You know, I have numerous people come from England saying, "Well, we're going to Las Vegas. We can just pop around and see you."
Yes, well, you know, I spent 4 years in England, and the Brits have no idea how large America is.
No, they've absolutely. When I explained to them, it's like driving from London to Edinburgh, and it'll probably take them about. You know, if they don't obey the speed limit, it might take them 7 hours. If they obey the speed limit, it'll probably take 9 hours.
You know, there's been a lot of talks about that the states are set up wrong. California should never be long like it is. It should be cut like Reno should be part of Northern California.
I mean,
that make you pop the bill. Folks.
We're a small city really, and we have to go 2 miles to a 2.5 hour drive to Sacramento is our next town.
Right.
Yeah. Right, folks, I think we'll wrap it up now. Is there anything you would like to comment or make a final remark? And then we are going to put this on our YouTube channel, and you'll be able to download it and link to it or whatever you want to do with it.
I'm going to trim it.
Final remarks, folks?
First of all, I'm going to trim
is your YouTube channel?
Well, you know, Jonathan moves it around too. Jonathan downloads it and puts it on WP Tonic, right?
Yeah.
And then I've got this on my goofy system for the start, which is william.b.conrad. But we could also put a web page. And one thing I wanted to ask, and Sally, I talked with you real fast. I was looking at your website. I think I pulled it down now, unfortunately. No. Where did it go? Oh, East Bay WordPress.
EastBayWP.com.
Yeah, EastBayWP. That's nice. We really need to do that for our WordPress meetup and get away from Meetup. I hate Meetup.
Why?
I mean, I don't hate Meetup, the organization, but their website.
Oh.
You know, you can't get the web. Did you capture all your email addresses or any? How do you manage your? That's maybe if you want to, we can have this for those who want to come on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock if that time works. But maybe a topic next week would be for the key people who manage next month. For those who manage meetups, is to do a little episode on how you manage your meetup and how you connect with the people. Because we have a pretty good meetup here. Jonathan, we get from, depending on the time of year, from 30 to 130 people show up. We've got a nice place to do it.
We 130 people. We get about 50 to 60.
We've had the largest I think we've had probably when I invited the entrepreneurial group in was close to 100 something.
And they can't understand a word I'm saying anyway, Bill.
Well, we have breakouts in different areas too, which works real well.
Because you're from Australia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's obvious, isn't it?
But anyway, I think
obvious.
It's nice website, and you do have leave a reply or leave your email. So you still use. So anyway, we can ask that maybe next time. Go on and see how you manage your websites, your collecting addresses.
And just so you know, there is this will be a great topic for next week. Let me know. There's actually a potential issue in Southern California from WordPress Foundation and all the meetups, and I'll leave it as a teaser.
That's good.
Oh, interesting. I have still not gotten around to switching my meetup over to the WordPress.org account. It's like I haven't I just sort of I've meant to, but it's been a year, right? Still haven't done it.
That's good. So what I'd like to do is this was a good practice start. I'll do a little trimming on this video, and why don't we try to meet next week, and then maybe if we work out something, the first Saturday and maybe the third Saturday of the month, do a couple hangouts, and then maybe invite some of these high-end podcasters / WordPress developers on.
I'm already here, man. I'm just
Yeah.
You got the best already, Bill.
And I'll have Deb show up there too, so I
as
can send
well.
that out, and I'll work on the systems. And again, I'm part of the new guy, and I should put my face up. So that's good. So any last comments? Why don't we go around once? Who do we want to start? We'll start with the women. We'll end with the women. How's that? So we'll start with. Got a wild cat here. Adam, we'll start with you. Any comments?
No, the only comment I have is, it takes practice, like anything else, like playing an instrument. Like I always bring out the harmonica. You gotta practice. Wow, that's a lot of going on over there.
Crazy cat. We got to stop. Breaking. We got to show that there's an assault going on right now. Attack cat.
Yeah.
Want me to go and get my lab?
Have you been beaten,
I've got a lab who is 5 months old who is crazy.
And we're back, and that's the show. Thanks, Sally.
Yes, my cat has attempted to strangle me and amputate her foot simultaneously.
And that's what Matt Mullenweg just said. That's why Matt Mullenweg told me exactly the secret behind. No, I'm kidding. Like, she missed all that.
Anyway, Adam.
So my last thought is it takes practice. Like anything else, I'm a firm believer of two things really these days. One, WordPress is free and easy if you want free and easy. If you want just a basic blog. Like I said earlier, past that, it takes time and practice. You got to practice it, period. And then the other thing about foundation and other stuff, just practice. You got to practice and have a goal in mind. That's the key, actually. Also, have an end point in mind.
Very good, Jonathan. I'm going to put you on next, even though you're like the main guy.
No, I think it's been a good conversation. I try to keep it on topic. I think I kind of semi-succeeded, but I think there were some really good comments from our guests. It is a complicated world, WordPress at the present moment. It's interesting, but it's complicated and interesting where it's going to go, really.
Very good. And Deborah, thanks for coming in. It worked. Hey, quick question, Deborah. You got the invitation last night, right?
Yes, I did.
But you weren't able to log on today?
No, it had to do with my system, because usually I have everything downstairs on my desk, but this window in my room is the only one that faces south, and I needed the light.
And you're really
so
frozen
that's why
right
I
now.
put this setup up here.
Okay. So anyway,
Really?
any last thoughts?
Well, no, I do. Yes, we do have to learn a lot when you're going through doing WordPress, for your business. If you're going to be a small business person, you also have to investigate which are the best plugins. You have to go look at the background. You got to find out what's compatible, what isn't. So it does take quite a bit of research.
Can I ask a quick question? Just one little quick. On reflection, if you had the budget, when you think about it, but I think it's also you like learning this, but if you're on reflection, if you had a budget, do you think you would have been better off of getting somebody to do the website for you and you spending that time trying to build your actual business up?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Because it would have been great just being able to pay somebody to do this and just forget about it. But I wanted to know how it works. My father has a website, and his is all the old coding and all of this other stuff, and he lost his person. So he's trying to learn to change and update on his website. And somebody else says, well, I'll go in there and do it, but you don't know how much it's going to end up costing after somebody else has been doing it all this time.
Hey,
and so I
said,
go to WordPress, Dad.
Coaching may be an alternative, having coaches as opposed to somebody completely building your site. But that's a different issue for another Google Hangout. So, so last person, Sally.
Number one, podcasting with cats is like running with scissors.
Is that like herding cats?
Number two, I wish more of my clients had Deborah's attitude in terms of wanting to be sure they understood how it worked. Number three, I think we need to keep an eye on these tools as they develop, because they will continue to evolve, and if they're done well, they can make our jobs easier. But it is figuring out which are good and which ones are good for what purposes.
Very good. Well, I think Jonathan, we're all done. I guess we can wrap it up. I will trim this a little bit before you download it, and I appreciate everyone for having the patience to come on today and work with us.
Oh, it's been great. I've really enjoyed it.
Very good.
Yes.
And
Thank you.
so anyway, we can go. You can all log off now. I'm going to stay on for a few minutes and play around with some different screenshots. I'm still.
Right.
I need to really do more deep dives into Google Plus and Hangouts and the screenshots because I think screenshots are good too.
Well, folks, thanks.
Sure. Sure.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. I'm gonna go practice my WordPress skills. How do I hang up?
I'm going to do a couple screenshots right now, and just say one foot. Could somebody stay on, Deborah? Stay on for a second.
Sure.
I want to see if you can see the screenshots on your end, and that we record them. If anybody understands, so I'm going to go up to screenshots. I'm going to take the screenshot right here of East Bay WordPress. Can you see that?
Black screen right now.
Oh, no, I saw it for a second there. There it is.
Wait a second.
There it is.
So okay, that's how. Now down here, is it black screen right now?
No, I can see it. East Bay WordPress
Interesting.
meetup.
Now I wonder if we're recording that too. I hope.
I think so.
The reason why I asked this, at the Atlantis, I have a little mixer, and I hook into their mixer, and I put this little 920 camera up, and I actually do the presentation, and I project up on the screen. But I think this is the way to do it, is to project through here, as long as this is this recording? This should be recording the image right now at the end of the
It should be.
Anybody? Who else could I stick up there? Kitchen WP. Let me do Kitchen WP. Let's see how fast. Oh, it did it. Wow. That was nice. So I just went right to your link, Adam.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. Hey, Adam, one question. How long have you been doing WordPress?
We're in 2014. Started probably 2000, end of 2009, 2010. Yeah, 2000. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, funny. Jonathan just called me on my cell phone. Sorry about that. You should have stayed on. So, yeah, that's good. I really enjoy WordPress. I've really only known WordPress for about 6 or 7 months. I really, literally, I used to have pages for my company. By the way, I have a real estate company, and one of the things, 2 of them, and one thing I'm trying to do is figure out how to bring it in the modern age.
It's tough. Well, WordPress and IDX are a pain in the butt. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, they don't work together, do they?
Not so much. Well, they do, but they don't. I mean, it's just there's a company out there that actually has some decent integration.
They're expensive though.
Yeah, there's a monthly. Plus, you have to have the MLS subscription, and yeah, but there's no way around that. That's what you need these days.
They use frames, I guess. I'm going to play around with the IDX and the frames, but I'm actually starting a company where the agents buy the company. I selected a couple of agents. If they want to buy into it, I give them 100% commission until they pay off their ownership.
Okay.
So I have like 3 owners. Kind of neat concept. I think it's going to work. So that's anyway. I'm playing around. Anything else? Are you an expert? Anybody an expert at Google Plus?
Not anymore. I mean, when it first came out, I messed with it, and then they kept changing it. I'm like, I'm out. I didn't have the time to sit and mess with it. I do know I would honestly Google Plus experts, and you'll get some stuff up there. That's what I would do, honestly.
I don't know if you see that. I'll learn. I'm going to study as much as I can because I think it's a really valuable tool. Yeah. So I'll cut off now. I'll let you guys cut out, and we'll stop the broadcast. So I appreciate it. Thanks, Deborah. Hey, Deborah, how's your new? I got to ask Deborah a quick question.
Sure, I'm hanging up.
Deborah, I was supposed to do a mic test with you. We never did make it. So Saturday morning's good. How's your mic working?
Well, this is the mic that I've been working. It's the Go mic.
That's excellent. How much did it cost?
$35.
Wow.
I got to show you this thing if you can see it. This is it.
Wow.
And right now I've got the speaker inside of this, and it's attached to the USB, but it flipped.
Okay, I've lost you. You must have done something. You're quiet now. You had that problem earlier. So we've proved the Go mic just cut out. Whatever you did, you turned off the mic. So I'm going to make a little note. You turned off the mic. Turned off. I can't hear you. Turned. So we'll watch Deborah demonstrating the mic. We can't hear her now. She must not hear us. So we got to stop that. This is crazy. Anyway, for those who tuned in, who listened in this, or someday will listen to this in the future, we're going to trim this up. This is Google Hangouts is a really amazing tool. You can use it for more than just what we just used it for. I think every school could have a little camera and record every professor their classes, and I just can't believe more people aren't doing things of that nature. So we're going to stop the broadcast. So, Deborah, I'll try to call you too. All right, bye.